Hey everybody, Questwise here. I know it's been a while. I apologize. Lots of crazy things going on in the world right now. In my life, in my world, in your world. Hopefully you're all doing very, very well. So I apologize at the outset of this video that it's been a long time since I've reached out to you, that I've shared anything with you. But there's something that's a game that I want to share with you today that's been sort of a while in coming. This video's been promised for quite a while, and the more and more, and I love this game, but the more and more that I interact with it, the more and more I play it, the more and more I read it, the more and more I learn about it, and I talk with the author, um, it's growing to become one of my favorite ways to play role-playing games. So let me preface that by saying, do you like this? Do you like this? Then you are going to absolutely love Olde Swords Reign. This is by Workhorse Publishing and Scott Myers. This compact little book does so many things for me. It is a combination of OD&D, original D&D, earliest basic kind of D&D, blended beautifully with 5th edition. So there's a lot of games out there that are emulating old school role playing, early D&D like basic or advanced D&D. But what they're doing is they're trying to emulate that, and then they're trying to add more modern texture to it. What Scott has done here is he's gone the opposite direction. He's taken 5th edition and added the flavor, no, the essence of classic D&D to this game. So if you've played 5th edition D&D and you haven't maybe accessed any of the older stuff, or vice versa, if you're a fan of the old stuff and haven't really dove into 5th edition, this is a beautiful blend of both of those games. He has done some amazing stuff. So how do those things fit? In particular, it's the 5th edition SRD, the rules documentation that you can find online for free. Which is sort of the basis of every 5th edition product out there right now. And you can use that using the open the open license available through Wizards of the Coast. You can use those things and make it sort of your own without. There are certain stipulations to that, but he's taken this and added his love of all things classic D&D to this game, and it works so well. Being a fan of all things D&D, but being a fan particularly of old school role-playing games, old school fantasy stuff, as well as 5th edition, this pairs that both really, really well. And the way he's done that is that he's taken the core, the essence of what is old school D&D, the simplicity of it, that idea that there are more, your imagination is going to be bigger than any options ever given to you in any series of books. So with that, he's taken it and cored it down so that there are just a few classes, a few races. You're talking human, dwarf, elf. You have fighter, cleric, wizard, thief. Just the kind of core concepts of things. Spells work like they did back in the old days. I think it caps at like level 5 on spell levels. And it amazingly works very, very well. One of my favorite things about this is the way he works in professions. So you still have things like proficiency bonuses, you still have things like advantage and disadvantage, all the stuff that you love about 5th edition, all the things that 5th edition has really brought to the table and has sort of made D&D what it is today are still here. But the way he does professions, and this is one of my favorite things about this game, and it's something that I've done in the past. When I wrote my little micro mini minimalist fantasy game, I used this concept a little bit. He's kind of perfected it in this game. What happens is that you have a profession. It's something you've done before you became an adventurer. And in that, you have sort of a broad covering of skills. So if you're a sailor, there's going to be lots of different things that you know how to do, whether it be rigging or rope use or fishing or navigation, that kind of stuff. It all sort of falls underneath that that profession of sailor. And when it comes into the game, and this is something that we used to do back in college when we were playing earlier editions of D&D, was that your imagination sort of sets the tone for the game. So if there ever comes a point where maybe your profession in this game was a sailor, but now you're a fighter, and at some point during the adventure, the situation pops up where your skills as a sailor are going to be important. If you can describe to the game master, the dungeon master, what it is that sort of falls under your previous profession of sailor, that fits the situation at hand, you'll get a proficiency bonus to the next time you roll to try to accomplish something. It's that simple. It's really, really cool. And he gives you a lot of sort of professions listed in here with the option of creating your own or adding more. I mean, the list is exhaustive if you think about it. So he's only got a few in here, some ideas of more common ones. But I really love that about this game. And I love that aspect in sort of old school. It feels very old school to me, and blended it with the 5th edition rules. What I think this game really shines at is there are a lot of new players coming to D&D in the world today. Lots of people who have never experienced role-playing before, or never experienced sort of some of the older, more classic versions of storytelling games before. And this would be an amazing way to do that. This is one of those things where people have played 5th edition, they'll be able to sit down, there's not any extra things that they have to learn or relearn. It's 5th edition at its core, but you can introduce to them that sort of simplistic, more imaginatively driven, old school way that we all did growing up. And that's why I really love this. The reason I wanted to put this video out today is that because this is based upon like original D&D, basic, early stuff. If you're, for me, and many of you know this, my introduction into the world of D&D was AD&D 2nd edition, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition. The reason I put this video out today, and kind of the reason why I held off for so long to tell you about this, is that because this emulates that very classic, original, basic style. But coming up very, very soon, and I will put a link down below as to where you can find out more information, is a version of Advanced Olde Swords Reign that will emulate those early days of like 1st edition AD&D, 2nd edition AD&D, if that's your kind of gig. And it is for me. Now, I love the old classic stuff, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how he blended 5th edition and capturing the feel of like Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition. Because, and I have no doubt in my mind that that Scott and Workhorse Publishing will do an amazing job at it. But if that's the case, it will become my game of choice. Go check this out. You can find this over at DriveThruRpg. I'll put links down below. There's a couple of different places. I think you can get them at Lulu printed as well. But I'll put links down below for this, as well as where you can find out more information about Advanced Olde Swords Reign in the description box down below. It is so good to be back. It is so good to see you all again. Till next time, I'm Questwise. Game on, my friends, and stay safe.